if I'm San Antonio with the inordinate amount of assets I have available to me, Shams, doggy, I'm not waiting until 2026. I'm going to go get him now. Now, mind you, the asking price can't be but so steep. But if I got 9 picks and I got to give up 2, along with a couple of players to get my hands on that brother, I'm doing it.
Yeah, Mad Dog, you don't wait for tomorrow. You start living today. You don't know what can happen in the future. All right, another piece available. I get that he might not change the fortunes of a franchise, but he's still got a lot left in the tank, and that would be Jimmy Butler, who was suspended again for an indefinite period of time after the disgruntled star walked out of practice on Monday. The team announced it's his 3rd suspension in less than 4 weeks. He was first suspended for 7 games earlier this month for conduct detrimental to the team, then 2 games for missing a team flight. He was set to return Monday, but instead was handed an indefinite suspension. Okay, Shams, you've been all over this one as well. Where do things stand right now between Jimmy Butler and the Heat?
Yeah, Molly, it's funny that you said he might not transform a team, but the last time Jimmy Butler played in a game where I think everyone can say he was fully locked in and engaged, he had 36 points, 19 rebounds, 10 assists. That's the type of performer Jimmy Butler is. So where Miami stands now and Jimmy Butler stand now is they are both aligned with the same goal, and that's finding a trade for both sides that ships him out of Miami. And the Heat are actively engaged in conversations with multiple teams around the league on the Jimmy Butler trade. 2 teams I'm told that they have talked to recently, the Phoenix Suns and the Golden State Warriors. The Heat are motivated among interested teams. And what's been described to me in league circles is the Heat are looking for shorter term contracts, preferably guys in the last year of their deal or maybe 1 more year after this year, as well as draft capital. They have not yet received an offer that they want to move forward with, but what we've seen so far play out is a divorce in real time, an overly successful 5 years for Jimmy Butler there. 2 runs to the NBA Finals, an Eastern Conference Finals berth, but this relationship has evaporated, and between now and next Thursday, the Heat are going to be really seriously honing in on which offer they want to move forward with before the deadline.
They've got to move him. They've got to move him. He's got to go. If I'm Jimmy Butler, it's not the Golden State Warriors that I want to go to. Obviously, Steph Curry is Steph Curry. They need other pieces. The Phoenix Suns are knocking on the door of a championship if you pair Jimmy Butler with Kevin Durant and Devin Booker. You can make some noise. You really, really can. It should be all about Phoenix. But a couple of things that I want to point to. Number one, right here on national television, I want to extend an apology to head coach Erik Spoelstra. Yesterday, we talked about Erik Spoelstra and being the umbilical cord to Pat Riley, and obviously we assumed that Pat Riley was the one that made the decision to say to Jimmy Butler in front of the team that you're not going to be starting this particular game. I got a call yesterday, and I'll basically say it was not from Erik Spoelstra. It was from someone very, very close to him, and they said, quote, Erik Spoelstra is his own man, loves Pat Riley, and Pat Riley loves him. Pat Riley runs the organization. But Erik Spoelstra is his own man, and he is the one that did that. That had absolutely nothing to do with Pat Riley. So let me make sure I make that correction on national television just to show respect to one of the great, great coaches this game has ever seen in Erik Spoelstra. Having said all of that, Pat Riley is clearly jamming Jimmy Butler to some degree. Why? Because the way Jimmy Butler has elected to handle all of this, some people would surmise that has minimized his trade value, that the Miami Heat are having trouble, as Shams has reported, as Brian Windhorst has stated, having trouble having their asking price met. Some people have speculated to me that that is in large part due to Jimmy Butler and how Jimmy Butler has chosen to handle things. Whether that's true or not, what's undoubtedly so, at least it appears to be that way, is that Pat Riley doesn't really give a damn. It's like, yo, you costing me assets, I'm going to cost you some of your assets. We're going to make this difficult for all of us, not just me. That appears to be what's going on right now, Shams, Doggy. That's why I think it's incredibly important that the sooner Jimmy Butler is gone, the better, because the longer this drags out, somebody, if not both parties, are going to end up being shortchanged when all is said and done.
Steve, Sham, when is Phoenix going to learn that bringing in another player from another franchise, it doesn't work? They haven't won anything with Durant, Bradley Beal's been a disaster, and now we're going to bring in a 35-year-old guy who's disgruntled, who will be into it, will play, but you never know about his durability issues. So now we're going to try it again, bringing a guy paying him $50 million and pair him up with Durant, Beal, and Booker and hope for a miracle without home court in that conference. I'm not sure if that's the way you build a winning franchise. And one thing about the two NBA Finals, let's be fair. One of the NBA Finals was during the COVID period in the bubble, and half the teams are not into it. And the other NBA final, they got destroyed by Denver. Furthermore, he stayed in a hotel 30 miles away from the team when they were in the finals in Denver. This is a guy that wouldn't even get on a team plane. I mean, I tell you right now, if it was my team and I was an owner, he's not on it. Because, A, he's never won anything. He's not on the team. I can't stand that kind of behavior. And I said this last week, I'm going to say it again. Pat Riley is a Hall of Fame coach and a Hall of Fame general manager. I'll go down the tubes with Pat before I'm going to go down the tubes with Jimmy Butler. All there is to it. They have to trade him. Let him sit. Why go placate Jimmy Butler? I mean, the idea that Shaq this week said it's just basketball, what are you, crazy? He's making $50 million a year and doesn't even play, doesn't show up, walks out of practice, doesn't go on team planes. Who would want that headache on your ball club? I would have nothing to do with him if I was an owner in an NBA.
There are multiple teams in the marketplace that believe Jimmy Butler is a difference maker for them come playoff time. We know when the playoffs lights are on, his numbers speak for themselves.
Hasn't won.
Here's the bottom line.
Hasn't won a championship.
When the lights are, he hasn't won a championship. That's true, doggy. But there's a whole bunch of people playing in the NBA making over $40 million that haven't won a championship. Okay, so let's get that out the way. That's number one. Number two,
he's
the brother
making
got
50.
them to two
He's making 50,
championships.
Steve.
Well, he actually is at 48 points.
Steve, you cannot defend this behavior. You cannot. I don't want to interrupt you. You can't defend this behavior.
Stop.
You can't defend it.
I'm not defending it. I'm not defending it. I'm just telling you from a practical perspective, there's a lot of people that haven't won championships that are getting paid. And so when you look at Jimmy Butler, why is Jimmy Butler acting like this? I'm not justifying it. I'm not saying he's right. I don't think he's handled it correctly. Let me be very clear about that. But in the end, if his objective is to get traded, it's going to happen, which means he's going to get what he wants. Why? Because he wanted the extension. He didn't get the extension. But then I think Pat Riley made a mistake over a month ago when he stated publicly, we're not moving you. In other words, we're paying you, shut up, stay here. He's like, no, I want out. And when you want out, you've been around too many decades, doggy, to not have seen people, when they want out, they get a bit truculent, to say the least. Why? Because they're saying, you're not going to have and maintain ownership over me. I don't want to be here. I want out. That's what's going on with Jimmy Butler. I'm not justifying it. I'm not saying it's right. But Riley should have never said, we're not moving you. We're not trading you publicly. He should not have done that. He should have just kept his mouth shut. And if you want to keep him, keep him. And if you want to trade him, trade him. But don't say anything. He said something, and that's what got Jimmy Butler to this level. Period.
Sounds like two alphas to me.